Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Deepa Rao, and I'm the current president of AVO. Today, we have with us Korin Green. Korin Green is a dedicated professional, passionate about economic development and empowering women in business. She holds a degree from Cleveland State University, where she honed her skills and knowledge in nonprofit administration. With a strong background in community development, Korean has made a significant impact as the Women's Business Center Manager of Northern Ohio at the Women and Business Center of the Economic Community Development Institute, that is ECDI, for the past 3 years. Korean has spearheaded various programs and initiatives in her role, specifically targeting the northern market. Her strategic approach and exceptional leadership have enabled her to drive meaningful change and provide valuable resources and support to aspiring female entrepreneurs. Corin's commitment to fostering growth and success in the business community has earned her recognition for her outstanding contributions. Outside of her professional endeavors, Corinne embraces her role as a sports mom and cherishes quality time with her two children. She values the importance of work life balance and seamlessly manages her professional and personal commitments. Korean Green continues to make a significant impact in the field of economic community development, empowering women in business and positively influencing the northern market. Her dedication, expertise, and passion drive growth and foster an inclusive and thriving entrepreneurial ecosystem. Now let's welcome Corinne Green and Mrs. Mahima Rao, who will be interviewing her. Thank you. Over to you, Mahima.
Thank you, Deepa. Welcome, Korin. We are glad to have you this afternoon. Welcome to this AO informational session. So let's begin by introducing what is ECDI. Tell us more about ECDI.
Absolutely. So ECDI is the Economic Community Development Institute. So because it's a mouthful, we like to say ECDI for short. We are like the group of acronyms over here. Bread and butter wise, we are a micro lender. We're the #1 micro lender in the United States for the last going on 4 years now. And so what that means is we're a non-traditional lender. So instead of going to your banks getting lending, you would come to us to get lending instead for startups businesses. And typically we lend from $750 to $2 million for startup businesses and even businesses that have been in business for 40 plus years. As opposed to a traditional lender, we operate in a little bit of the gray, and we focus on a lot more of the character building as opposed to everything else that you have to check off when you go to a traditional lender. Outside of the micro lending component, we offer several programming opportunities through ECDI. And so I focus on the Women's Business Center department within ECDI's organization. So along with the Women's Business Center, we have MCRC, which is focused on contracting, procurement, and bidding within the county, within the state as well. And then we also have our Food Biz, which focuses on businesses in the food space across the state as well.
Wonderful. Seems like you guys are doing a lot of work. So can you elaborate on how your institute is working with women, and what are the different services that ECDI is providing for women?
Absolutely. So because the Women's Business Center are also partially funded by the SBA, our focus is women of color across the state. And so my focus is really programming and curriculum for women in business. And so that can look like business plan building, marketing, strategic planning, anything to help you get you ready for lending. So we put on several workshops and trainings and cohorts. One of our cohorts focuses on women age 50 and over, where we're able to bring them into one space, really network and really focus on their business. And so a lot of our curriculum in my initiative is really to focus on the women in the state of Ohio.
That's wonderful. So when the women start an entrepreneurship, like, a lot of women don't know where to start. So is there, like, when a woman thinks about starting a business, is your place or the ECDI is the first place they should visit? Can you elaborate on those? Because we have a lot of women who have an idea, but they don't know how to progress with that idea. Could you elaborate on that feature that you provide?
Absolutely. So we'd love to, we call them nascent-minded businesses here. And so that really is that startup idea and really taking that and making it into fruition and making it come to fruition. And so we will work with you around that idea and really focus on business plan building and what that looks like, understanding your target audience, how to market your business. Is it right for the market? Really understanding, is this going to be sustainable in the area that you wish to put this in? And so we will work with them through that process. And that's been a huge goal for us just in general, is to really increase that knowledge across the state. I think a lot of times we don't know where to start. And so ECDI, or the Women's Business, is a phenomenal place to start. And we like to consider ourselves the connector of resources. So whatever we cannot offer, we will always be able to vet you off to an organization or people that can.
I mean, that sounds like a very encouraging thing for women. So AO deals with a lot of women who have either immigrated or have some constraints with their immigration status. Is there a special program, or how do you work with women of that nature?
Absolutely. So we turn no one away. Women, men, immigrant, refugee population. And so I will say that our business was started by Ina Kenny. And so I'm not sure if you're familiar, but Ina Kenny was actually a refugee that actually came from the Soviet Union. One of the first groups from the Soviet Union to come over here and to start this business over here. And her goal was to not only help businesses, but figure out how can they be sustainable. And what she realized was that there was no money for these businesses during that time. And this was 20 years ago this year. So we are currently celebrating our 20-year anniversary this year, but she started giving money out of her own pocket up until people were able to pick up what she was doing. And then she was able to figure out how to get money from these other organizations, which then created ECDI, which is amazing. And so we have several programs, all of which are catered for people of color, immigrants. So we turn no one away. So if you come to us and you're like, this is what I need assistance with, we can help you, no matter what that looks like.
Oh, that's a very wonderful thing. And we know that, a lot of our women come with a business idea, but they don't know where to turn. So that's a wonderful thing. So do you have a particular service or a particular business that you concentrate on, or how wide or deep your services go, or do you have a sector dependent services?
Yeah, so we have so I've worked with so many different businesses. And so the nice thing, we have a gentleman in this office. He speaks 11 different languages, which is phenomenal. So he actually will go to some of these businesses' houses after hours, because we know when you're starting a business, 9 times out of 10, you're working a 9 to 5, right? And so we're very entrepreneurial like ourselves. And so we like to meet the entrepreneurs where they're at, whether that's us coming to your business and really helping you through this process, whether that's a language barrier and we're bringing people in to make sure that we can assist you through this process. And so there's been several businesses where we've helped start to finish who've had language barriers, disabilities, many things that we really will sit and work with them after hours, weekends, whatever that looks like. We're coming to you to ensure that you can get the assistance that you need.
Oh, that's a super encouraging thing. Thank you so much for doing this. You did mention that you are a micro lending organization. So, can you elaborate on that? Because when people think of a business, or how they want to start, the finance is the biggest component for anybody. So, can you elaborate on that, please?
Absolutely. So a lot of times, the first thing we're thinking is yes, I want to start a business, but how do I get the capital? What does that look like? And so we start from an educational standpoint of is this right for you? And one thing I like to tell entrepreneurs is that you don't have to come in here thinking you have to take out $20,000, because for whatever reason, sometimes that is the first thought is I can't take out 20,000 or I can't take out 50. And the nice thing about us is that's not our goal. Our goal is to get your doors open and to work with you through the process of what is it that you need right now, right? And so it's huge for us to say that we start at 750 and go all the way up to 2 million. I think that's a huge thing, because I think a lot of times it scares people away when you talk about financing or lending for their business, because they're automatically assuming that they're taking out these large amounts. The one things that our relationship manager does is that they will work with you on what can you afford right now. And so we will look at your current finances coming in. We will look at how you're able to pay back the loan. Does this make sense for you? We do not want to have you take out, 401k or different things that's going to put you in a worse situation. And so we really walk through this journey with you. So like I said, we lend from $750 to $2 million. A lot of times we'll walk with you through the process of like your financial projections. And from the programming side, we'll get you prepared to apply for lending. We'll do everything we need to get you ready for lending, so that when you do go to lending, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be approved. We don't want to set you up for failure. And so from the programmatic side, we work very closely with our lending side to ensure that you are well packaged and you are well prepared. And again, we have good relationships with banking partners. And so our goal is to transition you over to a bank. So we will work on whatever it takes to get you ready to be bankable.
That's wonderful. So you did mention that, you start lending in a very smaller amounts. That is very encouraging, because once somebody wants to start a business, like maybe a sewing business, or an alterational business, or making pickles at home, or whatever, the smaller things that people have an idea to start off with. Another question I have is, when the women, or anybody who have that spirit, you did mention that you try to build more of a character for them, rather than let's go and give you money kind of thing. Could you elaborate on that? Because that's a very important piece for any businesses, or any entrepreneur.
Absolutely. So a lot of times when you go to a traditional lender, they're looking at several different factors. And so some of which are credit, some of them are character, some of them are capacity. And so one of the things we focus on at ECDI or as a micro lender is your character. Who are you as a person? Who are you in the community? Have you paid back your other loans? So where you may not have the highest credit score, but you have a story behind that. And you can talk a little bit about why. We take some of those things into consideration, where if you were to go to a traditional banking institution, sometimes it'll be like, not right now, we cannot do it. And so we are complete opposite of that. And so our credit score typically is about a 580 to 590 usually. So a little bit lower than what the traditional banking institution is looking at. So I'd like to say we'll look at the character component of it, as opposed to a little bit of that credit score and those other things that you have to absolutely check when you're going to a regular banking institution.
That's wonderful. So we are seeing a lot of youngsters, the immigrant population, especially the women or the girls who are teenagers, who have just started, they have made a move, and they want to start something new. So can we confidently say that we can direct them to your institution for guidance, and just make sure that their dreams of having a cupcake business comes true, or things like that? Do you have any specific program or any services that is catered to teenagers, or young immigrant population?
Absolutely. So all of our workshops, trainings, classes that are online are open to anyone. Teenagers, adults, 50 and over. You can join any class, whatever pertains to you. Now, from a lending standpoint, obviously you have to be 18 years or older. But from a training standpoint, I have done a lot myself, just on the side, because I'm very passionate about the youth. And so one of the things that I am passionate about is really fostering and being able to put them in spaces where they can network and ask questions. And so I've always encouraged them to come to classes, workshops, trainings, and events. I've done a lot of stuff with the universities, and just open those opportunities up for the young people so they can learn and they can ask those questions. I'm super, super big on that.
That's wonderful. So let's consider like what would be a typical case that you receive from a women business standpoint of view, because we have, I mean, our organization is catering for women needs. So let's say that a woman wants to start her own business. What would be like a typical route or a typical process that involves EDCI, and how the guidance would go. Could you give us a rough roadmap of that whole process, please?
Yeah, and it depends on them and kind of how they navigate the website. And so there are options where they can click, that they're looking for loans immediately. And for whatever reason, if they do go to a lending agent and the lending agent is like, hey, you need to work on your business plan, they will then route them to us and we will work through that process with them. Now, if they come through us first, we will have an initial call. We'll talk to them about their goals. What is it that your goal is? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where are you currently at with your business? And then from there, we'll walk through what we call like a business model canvas. And so that's a high level overview of a business plan. And so typically we'll have a telephone call or they'll come into the office and we'll walk through this process with them. We'll give them a little bit of homework to kind of come back to the table with this business model canvas, but that's to kind of help alleviate the stress when they're getting ready to start implementing this into their business plan. Because sometimes I like to say the business plan is like that really big book that you pick up, you read a couple of pages, and then you put back down and you don't touch for a while. And so I like to make sure I set them up for success. So by completing the business model canvas first, which is that high level overview of a business plan, we can make sure that we navigate them successfully through the process. And so from there, if they're interested in moving forward, we'll connect them to a dedicated coach in which they're able to schedule with as many times as possible throughout the year. And they will work through week by week or month by month, whatever their schedule allows for. They'll work on their just different components of the business plan, their financial projections, marketing strategies, and so forth. And then at whatever point they are when they're finished, if they're looking for lending, we will then route them to lending. If not, then we will continue to coach with them until they're ready or they would like to do something else.
Oh, this is like a fabulous. It's more like a holistic approach to someone starting a business. This is very encouraging. So these are all the parts that someone can avail their services. As a community, what are the different things that an ordinary citizen can either help or get the services. You did mention that there is a contribution page in your website that I saw, how people like us who are already employed, but we don't have a passion to start anything, but how can we contribute to your organization?
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing I always say is show up, or you can just get the word out. I think it's so important to let people know that we're here. We were called the best kept secret, which is really unfortunate because we don't want to be a secret. But I think that even if it's not just us and it's the resources in the community, letting people know that this exists. I think that we put on an event on May 4th for Small Business Week, which was our small business block party. And so it wasn't just ECDI and it wasn't just entrepreneurial resources, it was resources in the community in Midtown. So several different other organizations coming together in a space for free for the community, showing up to things like that and pushing things like that, saying, this is what exists in the community. You don't have to go and pay tons of thousands of dollars. You just have to network, have those conversations, and then really show up. And I think that's so important for our entrepreneurs, and really realizing that a lot of these organizations, if you start to ask questions, we offer so much. And so we, like I said, we offer more than just the Women's Business Center. We offer the Food Business Incubation Center. We offer the MCRC, and really digging deep to find out, what fits the needs of an individual and how you can really access those resources.
That's wonderful. So are there any opportunities for our high school students to learn from you? Because we have a lot of high school students who are looking to contribute, especially the volunteering services. And are there any opportunities in your organization, and how can they lend their services at the same time? What can they learn from this opportunity?
Absolutely. So again, I think it's important to, if you're able to come to classes and just learn and pick up information and just share with your community. One thing that we do is we have shadowing. So if there's something they're interested in and they would like to shadow a program, or they would like to come in the office and shadow what we do day to day, or even coming to the events and shadowing, helping out. I think that's so important to get involved with the community. So these are things that we do a little bit of, but I'm looking to do more in the next coming years.
That's wonderful, because since we have AO has a couple of youth volunteers, we would love to send them your way and say that, okay, this is an absolutely wonderful organization. They can shadow and understand what you are doing, because this is like a great community service because of, like, how you are coaching and working with entrepreneurs and the small businesses. This is amazing. Thank you so much. On the same note, like, I would like to know, like, do you have partnerships with any other local organizations? Do you have like partnerships with any of the bigger banks or the financial institutions that you would like to share with us?
Absolutely. So I don't know if you all know, but I want to say the end of December and January, we'll be getting ready to move into the Midtown Collaboration Center, which is headed by the Cleveland Foundation. And so the Cleveland Foundation has been built. We will go into the building right next to it. And so, which is amazing because it's like a one-stop shop for entrepreneurs and people in the community, but will also be an open public space where you can get several services in one building at one time. And so we partner with Cleveland Foundation, Jumpstart, because the WBC, or the Women's Business Center, again, is partially funded by the SBA. A lot of our local partners, SBDC, so the Small Business Development Center, Urban League, SCORE, these are all people that we partner with very closely. And again, what I like to tell people, we're not in competition. Our goal is to get these resources to the community and figure out what works best for the entrepreneur. If we do not have the expertise, we will definitely refer you out or get you to somebody that does.
Wonderful. This podcast will be heard by a lot of people. So just for our viewers who would be watching this later on, can you share us any success stories? Because, people have a lot of dreams, they want to do this, but they are extremely hesitant, and they have this thing like, oh my God, I might be a failure, I may not be doing this right. So, like, on those lines, if you can share success stories, that would easily empower our audience, and they can surely contact you for more guidance.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I have so many, I don't know which one to pick. But more recently, we were featured in GoDaddy Made in America series. And so this was just launched, I want to say last week. And so I got an opportunity to be a part of this program when it came to Ohio. And so this is where we take our entrepreneurs through a 6 to 7 week course where they're able to build a website through GoDaddy. If they complete this course with the necessary requirements, they get hosting and domain paid for 2 years. And so this particular project, we featured several business owners that went through this class, and they were able to launch websites. And so launching this GoDaddy series with Made in America was just so phenomenal to see their stories and see, what they're doing on a day-to-day basis. And it looks into different areas in Ohio. And so I encourage people to go watch it because it was a phenomenal opportunity to be a part of this program and to really pilot this program. And I want to say we're getting ready to apply for year 4. And so it's been an amazing partnership. We see over 300 some odd people, a year go through this, and e-commerce is just increasing year by year. And I think it's an opportunity to have additional, financial stability for businesses. And I think that in itself, and being able to utilize COVID and see a silver lining, I think is an opportunity for all entrepreneurs, and really utilize that to propel their business forward.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. So I have another question. Do you charge any fees for all your services?
So the only thing that we charge for is $80 membership fee. And the membership fee is more towards the industry specific services. So when you think about legal or you think about bookkeeping, these are astronomical costs. And so those particular costs, $80 a year, you will get access to legal, you will get access to bookkeeping. So if you think about it, a lawyer may cost $300 an hour. For $80 a year, you would be able to see this person build a contract out for your business or get assistance with your books at a very, very low cost and nowhere near $350 an hour. Outside of that, our workshops, trainings, cohorts, events are all free to all entrepreneurs.
That's amazing. You're doing such phenomenal work for the community. We are really, really grateful for such organizations which are leading the entrepreneurs. Korin, it was wonderful to meet you, and thank you so much for sharing such a plethora of information for us this afternoon, and partnering with AO and providing a lot of information. Thank you so much. We are happy to connect with you today. So viewers, if you have any questions, even if you have a small dream of opening or starting your own business, you know where to go now. ECDI has a lot of information. Just look at their website. There are services, there are classes, there are mentorship opportunities available. Just contact them. There is like plenty of information for everybody, and they have catered programs for women. They also have a lot of information for immigrant population as well. They do have people who speak your language, so do not hesitate. They have you can go to Midtown. They have collaborations with other organizations as well. So do not hesitate, just contact them, and you will be set to go, and you will be set for success. So that's the best part of partnering with ECDI. Korin, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. It was a pleasure talking to you, and we will hope to meet in person soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much. It was a
Korin.
pleasure.
Rupali, did you have any questions to Korin?
No, thank you for asking. No, I do not have any questions actually. I wanted to listen to this as an information session. I recently retired from a multi-billion-dollar organization, and I'm not really planning to start a business, but thinking of mentoring some younger people. So that's why I wanted to listen. But this is a great information. Thank you for doing the work for state of Ohio, and that's my personal goal of attending this session. Very informative. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rupali, for attending, and ECDI would surely appreciate your expertise. If you would like to share with them, please be in touch with Korin, and even other people can really benefit from your knowledge as well. Thank you so much for joining us today.
And
Okay,
also,
thank you.
I'll be posting Korin's details and contact number with this video. So like people who want to watch and contact Korin can reach out to her.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Korin.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Korin.
No
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.